This is a boomer hay trolley. It was made by the Milwaukee Hay Tool Company. It's a cold day today, so it's a good day to work in the shop. Let's give the fire a little time to work before we get to work. Some of you may remember a TV commercial made by Kohler about a woman who asks an architect to design her house around a faucet. We are doing something similar with our barn. We are designing our barn around this. Our hay trolley. Since we do put up loose hay, this will make it a lot easier to get it into the barn. This is a boomer hay trolley. It was made by the Milwaukee Hay Tool Company, and ours was made sometime before 1906, so it's pretty old. I've had it for quite a few years. I bought it and then fixed it up. It's New Holland blue and International Harvester red because that's the colors I had on hand. And I've just been holding it onto it for quite a while. So in addition to the hay trolley, it runs on a track along the peak of the barn, and I don't have track, so that's what we're going to do today. Is we are going to mock up a short section of track to test it on. I went to the hardware store and I got some steel, got some angle iron and some flat stock. This is just what they had at the hardware store. It's 1 inch by 1/8 inch angle, which is really too light for the actual hay trolley in use. I'll have to go to Spokane to get heavier angle iron, probably at least 1/4 inch thick, and also longer lengths just to minimize joints. But this is just a proof of concept. We're going to mock this up and see if it works. The first thing we're going to make are the hangers for the track. So I have some 1 inch by 1/8 inch flat stock. I haven't marked, so we'll be cutting sections off. Each section is actually a 1/4 inch shorter than the previous one because the track actually has a grade to it, so it's lower at the opening of the barn where the hay peak is, and it slopes upwards towards the back. Alright, good enough. Next, we'll cut a bunch of short pieces of flat stock to act as spacers. You probably can't see my scribe marks, but I laid everything out and punched it so everything is ready to drill. Yeah, I need a drill press. I didn't mean to set the drill right in front of the camera. Okay, I'll shut you guys off because you probably don't want to watch me drill tons of holes. Okay, so I got all my holes drilled in my little pieces. You didn't really miss too much. Although I did change the battery in the drill, so that was kind of dramatic. But otherwise, you'll just have to use your imagination. So now I have to drill holes in the track. And what I'm going to do is probably clamp them together and drill the holes together. It's only 4 holes total because these are 6-foot pieces of angle. And I'm putting them 2 feet on center. Okie dokie, all our holes are drilled. Now it's time to bolt everything together. If you want to see a hay trolley in action, check out our friends and neighbors at Cozy Cow Family Farm. I'll leave a link to their channel in the description. Alright, so we got our first part of the mock-up done. I have to build a wood beam to support it. That's what the holes along the top are for. And then we can put the trolley on and set up the trip. So we have our track and we have our trolley. So far so good. So the next thing we need to work on is attaching our trip. Without the trip, the trolley is really useless. It just looks pretty and slides back and forth. What the trip does is it actually locks the trolley into position at the end of the track. And it releases this center drop pulley to allow you to drop down and pick up a load. I've had the trolley for a while, but it didn't come with the trip. Luckily, through the magic of the internet, I was able to find a trip, but if I would have had to fabricate this, it wouldn't have been too hard. But luckily I found an original, so that's what I'm going to use. The main part is called the carriage. That's this part here that slides back and forth on the track. It's currently at the end of the track, and it's being held in place by the trip. That's that silver thing on the inside. You'll see there's a little tab on the carriage that strikes the inset on the trip that keeps the carriage from moving very far. Below the carriage you have the center drop pulley. This is how you pick up your load. You have a rope and it picks up the load. Now what happens is, as this center drop pulley comes up into the carriage, there's a couple pawls that hold it, and it actuates these latches. And the idea being, it will actually push this out of the way and allow the trolley to continue down the track towards the inside of the barn. So let's see if we can get that to work. Okay, so now the center drop pulley is locked into the carriage, supporting the load. You'd stop the carriage on the track wherever you want in your barn, then you would release your hay with a separate trip mechanism on the hay. So currently the center drop pulley is locked in, so to get it back out, you would use the return line to pull the trolley back towards the front. Now on the trip you can see it's basically a ramp, and that ramp pushes that pawl out of the way and releases the load. And there you go. Hay trolley. Oops. Alright, here goes. Normally there's not so much weight on it, so I will support some of the concrete block here. Well, that was a fail. Luckily I didn't break the camera. As a proof of concept, I think everything went great. Better than I could have hoped for. So some of the things that I know I'm going to change when I build the actual track for the barn will be thicker angle iron. This is 1 by 1/8 inch angle, and I will go with 1 by probably 1/4 inch. Also, my vertical uprights is flat stock 1/8 inch thick, and I have 2 1/8 inch shims in there. So I will probably go with just a single piece of 3/8. For the trip, it's just bolted through between the 2 pieces of angle. I'd probably weld those fender washers onto the angles so I don't have to worry about them moving at all. For safety, I would also put additional stops at the end. Both ends for that matter. Currently I have the trip on one end and a C-clamp on the other. Instead of screw hooks holding it up to the beam, what I would probably use are forged eye bolts, through bolted, and then rated shackles to support the track. And then of course the rope. This is just some rope I had around, but it would be thicker rope, probably 5/8 or 3/4. But otherwise, I'm very happy with this proof of concept. Everything's working like I hoped it would, and I look forward to someday putting this to use in our barn.